Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Because it's a messed up, weird week, even though it's Wednesday, we're going to do trivia today. It's going to be a rare trivia Wednesday. Things got all messed up. There was no Monday mukbang. The mukbang moved to Tuesday. The trivia Tuesday moves to Wednesday. Here we are. The theme for today is going to be Australia. I decided I have much love for the country, and I wanted to... Australia's been on my mind, so I wanted to have Australia as the topic for trivia today. So I hope no one takes it the wrong way, and it's all in good fun and as a tribute to Australia. I really wish I could go there right now. But before we get to the trivia for today, let's say hi to everyone that is listening on the podcast audio-only version. Welcome. Hopefully you guys are having a good run out there today, staying warm. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, welcome to you guys as well. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Hopefully you guys had good runs today or tomorrow, whenever your next run is. And glad to have you here. All right, let's see who's here. Landon Gunderson's here, says, wanted to be here early. Who's the first one here? Great. Today, by the way, I'm drinking some the Science in Sport. It's pineapple mango or something like that flavor. It's a good flavor, but just trying to stay hydrated. Inna says, hi, Capuzzi and everyone. Had a good fat bike ride after work with Pip. Very cold, but good to be out in the snow, and Pip loved it. That's awesome. I've been seeing a lot of dogs out on the lakefront path. I mean, I normally see a lot of dogs, but it seems like I'm seeing more now. I feel like there's just fewer runners, so the ratio of dogs to people is higher. But I've been seeing a lot of dogs out on the lakefront path. People taking their dogs out to play in the snow, and it looks great. It looks great. Today, a woman was like pulling up. There's a parking lot at certain parts of the path, and she had parked and got her dogs out, but she didn't like get them all leashed up in time. And there was a guy who had two dogs like on the leash on the belt in front of me, and the dogs that were on one of the dogs that was not yet leashed went over and like said hi to the other dogs, and I think I made that the other guy kind of annoyed because he was moving at a pretty good clip. But then the dogs kept going, but the unleashed dog kind of looked up at me, and I was like, you ready to go? You want to go for a run? I didn't say that, but I was thinking that. But he was like, no, he didn't really care about me. He was an older dog too, so I don't know how much he really wanted to run. And since I wasn't a dog, I don't think he was interested. But, it did make me miss the farm dogs that I used to run with. DJ Motiv is here, says, hey, Capuzzi gang, I managed to make it on time today. What do you know? Awesome. Very cool. Glad to have you here. Mark Salzman saying, hello from New York, Long Island. Says, hope everyone is well and safe. Awesome. Martha says, hi, early birds. Wednesday trivia isn't illiterate enough. How about Wednesday? What's it? That could actually be good, given the nature of the questions that I did. Wednesday, what's it? It could be a good one. Josh is here, says, how's it going, Kofuzi fam? That's how he says it. Fam, what up, fam? So good to see you, Josh. David Lidstone says, hey, everyone, I'm Zwifting right. Awesome. Cool. Mark says, when Mike puts out a video and he doesn't like the item, he really goes into deep detail. Did you see with those Fit earbuds? I mean, it would be unfair, I think, to be like, yeah, I just don't like these, and like leave it really vague. It would seem like petty and vindictive, or just I was just saying something because I don't, because it maybe doesn't fit with like the other things that I do like or something like that, So I really wanted to talk about like where I didn't like it and why. Because then, if people are looking at it that make earbuds generally, or that company sees it, then they could be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, he's right. These are things we knew. We thought people would kind of not notice or not care, but apparently they do care a lot. So, that's kind of why it's out there. But also, again, some people might be like, I don't care about any of that stuff. But he said he likes this, this, and this. All right, I'll still get it. So, like, that's kind of like the reason for the thoroughness. Yeah, today's video, I don't know. I guess I could have been a little bit nicer in the Backbeat Fit video. I kind of went after him pretty hard. But it's not their fault. It's a pair of earbuds they made. I mean, this pair of earbuds was probably designed like 2019, 2018, and then I put into production or at least late 2019. So it's like, it's an older set of earbuds. But, I was kind of hoping that maybe this low-tech approach would work. I don't know. All right. Casey A says, good afternoon, everyone. What's going on, Casey? Good to see you. Mark wants to know, did anyone buy kimchi from my mother-in-law? Sounded good. Awesome. Yeah, I almost had some more ramen noodles today. I felt like eating some, but today was a busy day. I actually was on another live stream. So this is kind of like it wasn't a live stream, but this is my second time hopping in front of the mic today. I guess my third, because I filmed the video this morning. But I was on Race Mob. Are you guys familiar with Race Mob? Their YouTube channel. There's a coach. It's a community. And they had me on and we talked for a little bit over an hour. So I was on there, and I mean, it was a lot of fun. And I don't know when it's coming out, but I'll let you guys know when it does, in case you want to hear me talk even more. But yeah, that kind of threw off my like eating schedule for the day. So like I've eaten kind of at weird times and not really enough. I had a hard workout today, very rigorous, and I didn't eat beforehand either. I'm just making all sorts of mistakes today. I didn't eat well before, and I'm not eating well after the workout. Yeah, so like it's just been a very tiring, taxing day, but a really good day. Today's workout was a weird one. Like one of the reps was like 200 run, 200 rest, 200 run, 200 rest, 400 run, 400 rest. So a total of like a mile of distance, I guess half of it being run at mile pace with lots of rest in between, and then do it 6 times. So it was a lot. By the last one, I was just dying. I'm like, this will be my last rep until Saturday, so I'm going to really go for it. So I did that. So I'm feeling tired. My core, my abs feel very tired today. That's how I'm feeling. How are your guys' runs today? All right. Tyler Gordon says, just thought I would put this in to show how amazing the running world is. I was doing intervals and passed this guy on the road, and he shouted, "Let's go, let's work." Amazing sport. We were blessed to do. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that like I'm going to start doing that more too. When I see someone like doing intervals and reps, I'm just going to be like, LFG, or like, go get it. I'm going to tell people to butter their bread too. Butter that bread. Do you think people would get that? I don't know if people would get that. I mean, everyone here, like on YouTube, like if you're watching live streams and stuff, I think that'd be pretty funny. But if I like yelled at a random person like down by like Millennium Park, like, butter that bread, I think they'd be like, what? Excuse me? DJ Modiv, as far as his running, said 10 easy trail miles at 22 degrees Fahrenheit in central PA. I feel like that's pretty warm for central Pennsylvania this time of year, isn't it? And now he's got his feet up on the couch. That's nice. Very nice. All right. Curtis Loss is here, giving out some good vibes. Nice. Louis Becerra's here as well. Says, yo, what's going on? Cool. Spence Owens wants to know, what are y'all doing for and he said y'all. I'm not normally a y'all-er, but he said y'all. Why apostrophe A-L-L. Spence says, what are y'all doing for Valentine's Day? Thinking about getting a late lunch delivery. That's pretty funny. I don't think he meant that as a joke, but I do like that. My wife and I don't really do much for Valentine's Day. We're not really big like holiday and birthday people. I mean, I think she might be, but I'm not. And so I don't know if I'm depriving her of stuff, but I've never been. But lately with the kids, we do stuff. So like we always have some sort of countdown going on in our house, whether it's a countdown to like Thanksgiving, to someone's birthday, to Christmas or New Year's. The current countdown is to Valentine's Day, but the girls aren't that excited. Oh, there it is. There's a Valentine's Day countdown, but it still says like 20 days left. So they obviously haven't been updating it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Benjamin Barreto says, butter the bread. I think that'd be funny. Mark Sanderson said he's coming in from Atlanta. What's going on, Mark? He said, had an easy run today and prep for a 3x1 mile interval session tomorrow. All right. Go get it. Butter the bread. But have a good workout tomorrow, Mark. Josh had 3x2 mile tempo with 3-minute jog rest by heart rate today. Solid. Nice. That's is that, I suppose, I'm trying to think of how long does it take Josh to run 2 miles at tempo? So what is the work compared to the rest on that one? Is that like 2-1? No. That's not 2-1. That's got to be more like 4-1. Yeah. And that's cool. That sounds tough. 6 miles of tempo work. It's a lot of that's a lot of work. Good job, Josh. Brendan Cam is here. Says good afternoon. Awesome. Love that. Love that avatar he's got down there. Looks good. All right, let's get to the first question for today. All right, like I said, today's you're gonna see a theme. Most of it is gonna be like pretty straightforward kind of questions, but they'll have like long kind of like workups, I guess. All right, so first question for today. Let me take this thing off here. All right, first question today for the theme of Australia. Remember, there's no, I mean, there kind of is points, but there's no points. There's no prizes today anyway. Not that getting the questions right will get you a prize, even if there were a prize today. So the first thing when I think about Australia is Crocodile Hunter and Steve Irwin. And I was thinking about Steve Irwin again. I mean, the whole reason I was thinking about Australia is because like our house is like all Australia all the time right now. We've been watching Investigators. We've been watching the Netflix series Izzy's Koala World. And then we also went down a rabbit hole yesterday of watching, I think we watched all 3 Dr. Dolittle movies yesterday. The beginning of Dr. Dolittle 2, there's a cameo by Steve Irwin. And I was like, oh, Steve Irwin, that's someone I haven't thought about in a long time. And, I was thinking that his daughter is not only married now, but she's pregnant. So it's just like, wow, like it made me feel really old, like all of a sudden. But Steve Irwin's daughter's name is Bindi Irwin. But what name is Bindi a nickname for? I had to look this up. I didn't know. I was like Bindi Irwin. Is that short for something, or is that like Aboriginal? Like what is that? What does that come from? So first question, trivia question today. What is Bindi short for? Blue and onion. Oh, that's so funny. Flying spiders. Shannon says, besides the croc hunter, all I can think of for answers to Australia trivia is kangaroo. None of the questions have anything to do with kangaroos. So I feel like I've done a little bit more like of a deeper dive today. Oh, and you guys knew that like right away. How did I not know that? I don't know. Let's see. Tony Bowen said I got nothing. See, so I wouldn't know. I would have been like, I don't know. Bindi's short for Bindi. It's just B. But Shannon had it first. Belinda. Jeffrey was like Barbara. That's kind of where I was going. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like Australian nickname for things are like sometimes like super obvious or like super creative, like one of the two. There's never like a middle ground. So I was like, Barbara could be one, but it's Belinda. A lot of people had it. Look at you guys. You guys are smart. Awesome. Funny. Scotty B says, you're in a bindi when you run out of hydration and gel. And Martha says, do you know what part of Steve Irwin's body got bitten off by something in the water? No, I don't. In the movie, though, in Dr. Dolittle 2, it was his arm. He was joking about it. We're going to sneak up on this croc. And the croc could talk to Dr. Dolittle, Eddie Murphy's character. And he's like, I'm going to pretend I don't know you guys are back there. And then I'm going to bite this guy's arm off. And that's what happened. What's going on? I was just telling everyone about Dr. Dolittle 2 yesterday. My daughter came in at the croc, like biting the arm off portion, and she's like, what are you guys talking about? All right. And Benjamin Riddle is still laughing at the oh, awesome. All right, Shannon says, I never thought I'd be owning Australia trivia. Awesome. Oh, okay. All right. Let's get to question number 2 for today. A lot of them are going to be kind of like this. So pretty like basic questions. All right. Here's the next one for today. I think is going to be pretty fun. So one of the things that I love to do is, maybe what part of my like obsession with Australia, and it's been a lifelong obsession. I remember distinctly when I was about my daughter's age, we had to write a report about a continent. Like everyone had to pick a continent, or was it? I think we had to pick a country, and I picked Australia. So like since like I've been like 9 or 10 years old, I've always been like, if I could pick, I'm picking Australia. So that's been it. But one of my favorite things is like the Simpsons episode where they went to Australia. That is just absolutely amazing. One of the best episodes. But in that episode, they talk about the knifey spoony game. And I bring it up all the time. Usually I bring it up when people talk about how they got more elevation than me in a run, or they run in colder temperatures than me. I'll be like, oh, I see you've played knifey spoony before. And that's a reference to a Simpsons episode, but that is a reference as well to Crocodile Dundee. And, he's like, that's not a knife. Now that's a knife, right? But there were multiple Crocodile Dundee movies. Which crocodile movie does the phrase, that's not a knife, that's a knife, come from? It's a multiple choice. So you got Crocodile Dundee 1, Crocodile Dundee 2, or Crocodile Dundee Los Angeles. They didn't call it 3. It was just Crocodile Dundee Los Angeles, I believe. All right. Any guesses? All right. John says, you're picking some of the craziest, deadliest animals if you pick Australia. Oh, that's funny. All right. We have a couple of guesses. I think Runner Dre wants to know, are there going to be any Nemo questions? I thought about it. Like, what is it? Like something 21 Wallaby Way, Sydney, Australia, something like that. Isn't that the address? I thought about trying to like map it somehow and like make that a question, but I couldn't find anything. Yeah. Who's the first one to get it? Jeff Elliott says, is it the first one? Yes, it was kind of a trick question. It was the first one. I think it'd be great if it was actually like Crocodile Dundee Los Angeles, but it was Crocodile Dundee 1. But some of it, I kind of threw some of you guys off. Second one, Cooper Davis said 2. Daniel Goose said second one, but a lot of you guys had the first one because you got it figured out. All right, a couple of questions, and if anyone's new here, welcome. I'd love to hear where you're watching from. Also, if you've got a question today, if you came with a question, please feel free to drop them in there. I know we're playing trivia, but usually I like to answer any questions while like some of the answers are coming in. So feel free to drop them in. PG's got a question. He says, hi, Kofuzi, how's it going? What's going on, PG? Good to see you again. So how's the bike going? Not seeing you post any vids on the bike lately. 2 things about the bike. 1, it's in Iowa. And the exercise bike, the spin bike that I bought, that's also in Iowa. So I don't have those here. And number 2, it's really cold out here. It's cold for running, and I just can't imagine trying to hop on a bike with how cold it is, because then it'd just be even colder with like the wind effect. So, I'm probably taking a break from the bike. Touch wood, knock on wood, all things going well, until summertime probably. All right, one more question that I saw. Oh, Keith Sinclair says, hi, Kofuzi, do you ever make it out to Boulder? I've never been, but right now I would love to be able to run the Boulder. Isn't that it? The Boulder? Is it Boulder or Boulder? That race. I want to run that race. It seems like a lot of fun. It would kick my butt because it's at an elevation and it's at a distance that I don't normally run. But I would love to be able to run that one. But I don't actually think I've ever been in Colorado other than like if I've had like a layover in the airport. I don't think I've ever been in Colorado. All right, let's do one more question. We've got a question for Kofuzi. Do you know if/when Vapor or Alpha Flies or Endorphin Pros will ever go on sale? I always buy previous year shoe models to save money. Was hoping to snag a pair before my next half marathon in June. Vapor Flies and Alpha Flies, I don't think normally go on sale. I want to say like there's been like a time here and there where I've seen them on like other retailers kind of going for cheaper. That might be your best bet to go to like a Jackrabbit, or I don't think they get them at like Dick's Sporting Goods or like Sports Authority. Does Sports Authority still exist? Champ Sports or Finish Line or anything. I don't think they get those there. I'm not sure, but that'd be like my guess. I'm not sure that the Vaporfly or Alpha Flight are going to go on sale though. The other thing that you can look for is like sometimes on StockX, some of the colors that like just ended up not being that popular will go below retail. It doesn't happen a lot because like there aren't a ton of running shoes on StockX or those aftermarket kind of websites, or apps, but that could be another place to check. The Endorphin Pros they might go on sale because there's the Endorphin Pro 2s I think are coming out. I don't know about soon, but they'll probably come out in like June or so is my guess. And just an absolute guess. I have no idea. Although the first Pro, when did they come out? In May? I have to look back at that. But I have a feeling it won't be like April. For your half marathon, you might be able to get some. I'm saying if the 2s come out, then the 1s might go on sale because Saucony does tend to discount some of their stuff like later on in the year. But with the Pro, Endorphin Pro, I'm not sure that we'll see that. I'm not sure. So I wouldn't hold my breath necessarily. So we'll see. All right. There was one more that I want. Oh, we got some newcomers in here. I just want to say hi to Fivehead watching from England. Welcome. And Charlie Quintero coming in from Boca Chica, Texas. Awesome. That sounds nice. Rod Marcos coming in from the Philippines. Awesome. Welcome. All right, let's get to question number 3. Sorry, there's a lot of clicking but I I always forget I write up the questions in like a Google Sheet or a Google Doc, and then I forget to like transfer them over to this app to put them on the screen. All right, so here's question number 3. There are no alligators that are native to Australia. We talked about crocs and the croc hunter, but we haven't talked about alligators. There are no alligators that are native to Australia. But what are saltwater crocodiles called? There's like a nickname for saltwater crocodile. I'm assuming that's not what like scientists and veterinarians call them, but maybe they do. I don't know. I've never met an Australian wild animal veterinarian or exotic animal veterinarian, so I don't know. They might call them this, but what's the nickname for a saltwater crocodile? All right. Critical Thinker says, while some answer comes in, says, I just got the endorphin speed in electric blue today. Electric blue endorphin speed. I'm trying to think. I don't know that I know what that looks like. Interesting. Will Willing got a $40 off coupon from Zappos and used it for the endorphin speed. There's 2 stories in that comment. One is that Zappos has the endorphin speed. And number 2, that $40 off coupon. Wow, clutch that you can still use it on the endorphin speed. That makes it a really great deal. Awesome. All right. Brett Reed says, for the question of today, or question number 3, what are saltwater crocodiles called? Brett Reed says crocs. I suppose that's also true. I'm looking for something a little bit more specific for that. Martha is clarifying that there's no alligators in the southern hemisphere at all, she thinks. Is that true? I don't know. Someone was trying to tell me the difference between an alligator and a crocodile, and they're like, if you look at the shape of the head, one is like more like an A shape and one is not. And I'm like, they both have kind of the same shape head. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, I'm out of focus again. So I don't really know what the difference is. All right. Lewis and JC are calling them caiman for saltwater crocodiles. I don't know. That might be right, but that's not the answer that I was looking for. Vegan Runner thinks that they're just called gators. Stevie76 thinks they're called fish. I could see that. But you guys are overthinking it. Martha's answer is like really, really close to it. Her answer is where is it here? I see some. Her answer was saltwater crocs, and the right answer from Fivehead is salties. I just think that's amazing. They're like, what are we gonna call these saltwater crocodiles? Salties. Do you know what they call freshwater crocodiles? I mean, I'm assuming this is right from stuff I looked up on the internet. I did not run these by an Australian. Although, you know what I totally should have done? Oh man, missed opportunity. There's a YouTuber that I know in the area. He's Chicago Aussie. I totally should have asked him. I should have had him on today. I haven't seen him in a while. Nice guy. He doesn't do running content, but he does a variety of fun stuff usually about Chicago and his like Australian experience here. But I should have asked him. But he might not know. I mean, I'm assuming like all Australians know a lot about crocodiles, but that's probably a misconception. All right. Jody says, also known as run. Now that's an Australian telling us that. So I feel like there we go. Awesome. Josh says, there are crocs in Miami. Are they crocodiles or are they alligators? Do you know? Because it's not purely like a saltwater or a freshwater thing, right? That's not the only difference. I think there's other differences, aren't there? Jeff Elliott says, I've heard of caimans. Okay. That's probably a correct answer. It's just not the answer that I had written down on my paper kind of thing. Awesome. You guys had some funny answers, though. All right. Runner Dre wants to know, you don't have a fact checker code? No, I don't have a fact checker. In fact, if I can even come up with the questions beforehand, I'm happy. Sometimes, like, when the caliber of the questions goes downhill at the end, it's because I ran out of time. So I don't have time for a fact checker. No. Scott wants to know, Is it true that in Australia the toilet flushes counterclockwise? Is that true, or is that a thing? I don't know. No. Well, maybe Jody's going to be our resident Australian for today, but he will say he's never heard of caimans before. I don't know. Andy's here. What's going on, Andy? He has just had wild boar and no Crocs out there. Yeah, I wouldn't think that there would be crocodiles or alligators up in England, but I would feel like if you guys did, you would have some fun names for them too. Not like salty or freshy, but something along the lines of like Nessie, for example. Yeah, I know that's kind of mixing regions, but that's I feel like if there were crocodiles in the UK, they would have much more like grandiose names, like the something something dragons or something like that. Because you guys are good at naming things over there. All right, Cooper Davis coming in with some more facts for us. Caimans are a different breed that are smaller, although he could be wrong. He's saying. Well, I appreciate the humility that you've come in with today. Mark Jankoko says, aren't Crocs recovery slides? Well, they can be, but if you put them in sport mode, you can go fast. I feel like analogous to how crocodiles can also run very quickly in certain directions, I guess. All right, Jana says, to determine the difference between a crocodile and an alligator, so from the side on the crocodile, you can see the teeth. On an alligator, you cannot. Oh. Now that's something that I can remember. Interesting. Denning76 says, there's a pack of wallabies in the Isle of Man right by England. Is there really? Whoa, I didn't know that. Awesome. All right. CV76 says, from now on answering, you can answer with alternative facts only. That's always encouraged. That literally goes without saying. For these Trivia Tuesdays, you can, always put in some alternative facts. And he says there would be a national emergency if a crocodile was found here. Oh man, that'd be funny. Martha says she'd be running away too fast to look at whether the teeth are visible from the outside or the inside. Awesome. All right. Let's get to some more of the trivia that I got for today. I think we'll get through them quick today. Not that I'm in a rush, but we can get through them quick today. All right, number 4. All right, see here's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about like after a while, like the quality and the caliber of the questions kind of goes downhill. All right, so I think this is okay. Is this okay? I'm not sure. I apologize if this is offensive. I don't think it is. But I'm a big fan of Aussie Man Reviews. I love that channel, and I just love his take on things. And he just like rips the Australian slang like crazy, and I don't really understand half of what he's saying, except I can usually pick it up in context. One of the things he always says is he uses a slang term for women. What word does Aussie Man Reviews use as a slang term for women? Let's see what we got. Oh man, you guys know it already, but I don't know. I also like Googled it as well to see like this word, to see if if it's actually like a really offensive term, but it seemed to just corroborate the definition that I had for it. But I'm also wondering if are people answering that given the fact that Aussie Man exists, or is this a term that other people have used, or did Aussie Man come up with it? I feel like Aussie Man came up with it, but I guess I could be wrong. Louis Becerra coming in with 1942. That's always the answer that we get. And DJ Dib says he knows the answer from going to Outback Steakhouse a lot. Is that true? Did you really used to go to Outback Steakhouse a lot? You know who loves Outback Steakhouse? My parents. Is my mom here? Mom, are you here? My parents love Outback Steakhouse. I think Outback Steakhouse is okay. You know what I love though? The bloomin' onion. I'm a big fan of the bloomin' onion. It's the sauce. The sauce that goes with it. It's just super. I mean, basically, it's like it's like ranch mixed with Thousand Island or something like that. But it's super tasty, and you got basically onion rings. It's tasty. All right. So, all right, I think everyone got it. I think everyone got it. Frank says it's a saltwater crocodile. No, but let's see. Yeah, everyone had it right from the beginning. FOD runner says Aussie man is so epic. Is epic. He's so funny. He is so funny. Denning 76 was the first one coming in with Sheila's. DJ Madib had it too. Jody also confirming that it's Sheila. Innes. Everybody knew it's Sheila's. Steve, Fivehead, and you guys knew this. I remember the first time I heard that, I'm like, whoa, is that like an Australian version of a Karen? Is it? Can anyone confirm or deny? Or is that just like a word that people have been using for a long time? I don't know. Does it have the same kind of like racial, not racial, but I guess racial connotation as when I call, if someone's called a Karen over here? I don't know. Or is it just there's Sheila's? I mean, right now at this point, anytime I even hear the word Sheila, I'm like, ooh, someone's going to trip over something or fall through some drop ceiling. That's kind of like, as soon as I hear the word, like I'm just ready for some comedy, some like slapstick comedy at someone else's like physical pain expense is about to happen and it's going to be funny. I don't know why I love Aussie Man so much, but I feel like a lot of people do. So I'm not the only one. Let's see. Ben Y says Aussie for man and woman is fella and Sheila. Fella and Sheila? Oh, is it? Really? Stevie 76 says of the bloomin' onion, it's authentic Australian fare. Yeah, what is like what would be authentic Australian fare? I mean, like what like I'm trying to think like if like a cruise ship full of Americans showed up and they all got off this cruise ship and like there was something that you would sell to all these American tourists off the cruise ship, like what would it be? It wouldn't be a bloomin' onion. Can you imagine if it was like it's a bloomin' onion from Outback and a Foster's? Like people would get off the cruise ship and be like, "See, I told you, it's not that fancy." But what would be like? What is like? Daniel says that's not a trivia question; it's a legitimate question. Daniel Goose says kangaroo meat. I don't know about that. Frank says meat and potatoes. Is it? I don't know. Brett Reed says Vegemite. All right, now we're talking. See, I've never had Vegemite. I've never had Vegemite before. Daniel Goose says Tim Tams. I thought Tim Tams were Canadian. They're Australian. I don't know. And his number says, I like this Wednesday trivia. He's been all correct so far. Awesome. Runner J says the touristy stuff would be a cute kangaroo stuffed animal. That would or a koala in a kangaroo pouch. I feel like that would like sell like crazy. Oh, and Jody says Tim Tams are Australian. I didn't know that. I thought that they were Canadian food. You know what I want to do is I feel like someone should sell this as like a box. You know how they sell like those boxes of treats and you can get like, you know, a box of like snacks from Japan or a box of snacks. I feel like they should go through. I don't know if the snacks that are on Investigators, because the kids eat all sorts of like treats that they like go nuts over because they're like fifth graders. So like they're crazy about junk food. And I feel like there should be like just a box. I would buy it, a box of all the treats that the Investigators eat. I want to have that. Chris Dyke says Tim Tams are Australian, although this Canadian did enjoy some last night. Awesome. I Run Pro Rob says, are you on Clubhouse yet? I'm not on Clubhouse. I don't know what Clubhouse is. I mean, it's just me getting old. I don't know what it is. I see the tweets about it and I'm like, it's already left me. I can't catch up at this point. Andy says, Mike, we totally need to exchange a box of treats and do a video on it. American eating British candy and vice versa. I'm in. Let's do it. Well, I'll message you afterwards. We got to figure that out. I got to figure out what things are like very American. You're going to hate. See, the thing is, I'm getting totally the better end of that deal. You're going to hate all the stuff that I sent. Although I feel like some of the British candies, I feel like, you know, they try to get like put fruit in there sometimes, or sometimes things get savory sometimes with like European and British food. It could be. See, I think like if we were to do it in exchange with someone from an Asian country, everything would taste like lavender or like a flower or something like that, like weird, like perfumey type of food. There's like I think there's tens of different like Japanese Kit Kat flavors. I've had several of them. I don't like any of them, but we'll see. All right. Yeah, Martha says, is Trader Joe's American enough? Because they have Greek chocolate and other kinds of treats. That's true. That's true. I feel like though, if I'm sending like a box representative of America over to the UK, I'm not going to get the nicest candies I can get. I'm going to get the most American candies I can get, like the most over the top. Like if there's like a candy bar stuffed inside a cookie wrapped inside like nougat, that's what I'm going to send. Oh man. All right. I'm Rotten Pro Rob says, I have one Clubhouse invite left. Was able to be on stage today with some awesome ultra runners talking about ultra shoes, zero drops, and fuel in the long run. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look at that. I'll try and figure out what Clubhouse is. Yeah, I saw a whole bunch of like some of the runners that I follow on Twitter. They were talking about being on Clubhouse, and they were complaining that there doesn't seem to be a like a blackout version. What do they call blackout? Nighttime version? Like the ones that aren't all white backgrounds but black backgrounds. They were complaining about that, and I was like, I don't even know what Clubhouse is. All right. Andy says he wants it the more American, the better. And he says, you guys love peanut butter stuff. We do. I mean, peanut butter's in everything. That's for sure. All right. But Dan Runs does say we have some great treats in the UK. I know you guys do. You know what I think was one of the most like disappointing candies that I've ever eaten? Turkish Delights. So I remember I was maybe, I guess I was my daughter's age when I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the entire series. And they're always eating these Turkish Delights. And the kids are going nuts for them, right? There was nothing like that. There's nothing called Turkish Delights in the US. And it wasn't until I was like maybe in college when I saw this candy called Turkish Delights. And I'm like, is that related to the book? Or is the candy something that existed and then just was referenced in the book? So I don't know, but I ate one. And I ate it, and I was like, what is this? Who put jelly in this candy? And it was a weird jelly. It was kind of like when the dentist tells you something tastes like strawberry, and it's like, this does not taste like strawberry. But I don't know, the fruit isn't strawberry. But Turkish Delights were a major, like, I didn't like that at all. I don't know. Leave it wrong. Says, what's the theme for today's trivia? Australian stuff? Yeah, it's Australian stuff, but we've gotten off the rails, as usual. That's where we're at. All right. DJ Madiv says, Turkish Delight. My partner is Armenian, and his family often gives them to us, and I don't want to be ungrateful, but they're very bad. Oh, that's funny. Chris McLean says, yeah, Turkish Delight are bobbins. And I don't know what that means, but I get the context of what you're saying. It's a strange treat. Martha says, I think treacle is syrup. Oh, is that what it is? Carl J says it's similar to fruitcake. Has the word cake in it, but blah. Serious question though, guys. Have you guys ever had, like, has anyone actually given you fruitcake? Has anyone eaten fruitcake? There's always been like this kind of like, I don't know, trope. I mean, I guess what did we have before memes? That like fruitcakes were this horrible gift that you just regifted to people around the holidays. But I can't imagine anyone having. I don't remember ever eating fruitcake or knowing that I ate fruitcake. But I feel like a super dense food that's cakey with dried fruit in it. That sounds like something a runner would want, right? No? Am I wrong on that? I don't know. I think that I'm gonna have to buy some. I think I'm gonna have to buy some fruitcake, and we'll try it on the next mukbang. Oh, Andy loves fruitcake. See, I feel like it could be a good thing. And Jeff Elliott says you can get fancy fruitcake with dried fruit in that candy. There's fruitcake with candy in it. I'm gonna have to buy a couple. Chris McLean says fruitcake and cheese is the real deal. I don't understand that. That doesn't. These are words that don't make sense to me. Fruitcake and cheese? Is it? Sounds like a weird combination. 76 says Turkish Delight and Scotch eggs are all that's required for the long run. Oh man, you guys are funny. P Funk says, "Hey Chad, is there a better day to ask running related questions? I understand today's trivia day. Might try later this week. I don't want to spam the chat. Sorry, dude. P Funk, put the question in. Sorry if I missed you. I'll wait for your question. Any day is a good day for running related questions, and we'll get to it. I may apologize if I missed you earlier too, but you can totally put it in there. I'll wait for it. All right. I got one more. I do have one more trivia question. I have two more trivia questions, but we'll wait for the question from P-Funk. John Ritchie says, though, I ate fruitcake at an aid station in a 3/4 marathon. Good vibes. So yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good to me. All right, P-Funk says, thanks. Do you consider shoes context when preparing for your reviews? For example, Seth trashed to craft CTMs, and he said only cares about performance. Yeah, I do. I mean, and by context, I mean, like, what is the shoe, like, intended for? Is, like, something that I think is important. I also think, like, important, like, if it's a shoe that's different from what the company normally offers, or if it's some of their early offerings, I feel like, that goes into it. Ultimately, I'll talk about, like, whether I might couch it in terms of, like, this is a good shoe. Like, if I'm really interested in the Puma shoes. So, like, once I get those, I'll be like, this is a great shoe from Puma, but a great shoe overall, or it'll be a great shoe from Puma, fantastic potential here, but, like, they got some catching up to do. So I think that's important. I think it's interesting because I don't think the shoes exist in a vacuum. They exist in a world where other shoes also exist. And, so I think that's one thing. But I understand his point that, like, for him, the shoe is the shoe and it should stand on its own merit. I totally get the concept. But, I kind of like to look at it from the entire landscape as well. So, I mean, I don't think there's a right or wrong way. I don't think either one is necessarily right or wrong or better than the other. But I do consider the context a little bit, maybe too much. Because, you hear people, I mean, I'm trying to think of what other people do as well. But you'll hear people say stuff like, like, whenever a shoe is super hyped, it always gets me to be a little cautious. So I think that there's things like that that people, like, naturally do. And I feel like, it's one of those things where you can't completely remove yourself from the context of any shoe, It's important to try to remove biases and preconceived notions to an extent. But I also feel like that comes into play to the review too. For example, if, like, a company markets the shoe as, like, it's going to do all these things and it's not good at any of those, it might be good at this whole other thing, but I think that warrants conversation, as well. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. All right. And you guys got off on another dessert tangent. That's good. Martha says haggis, weird mom proposed. I've never knew what haggis was until the movie Armageddon, when they're doing doing the physicals and the questionnaires of all the oil miners before they decide whether or not they can put them through space training. And the one guy's like, haggis, you get the stomach of the sheep and you fill it full of guts and then you boil it or something like that. I was like, what is this? That was my first kind of, like, knowledge that haggis exists. All right. All right, J. Kim Calgary says, hi, Kofuzi, what temperature is too cold for running? It's been below negative 20 Celsius for a week here in Canada, and I'm itching to get outside for a run. I think I'm sure that there's an absolute answer to that. But for a lot of people, it's going to be relative. Whenever people say one of two, whenever I, like, post a temperature, I get two kinds of comments. One is, oh man, it's like 2 degrees Celsius here, and I thought that was chilly. And then the other hand is like, oh yeah, well, it was negative 25. See where I am. And I'm like, I respond the same way to both people. I'm like, cold is relative. What's cold for one person might not be for other, but this was cold for me, or if it's someone saying, like, you're tough for being out there in colder temperatures than mine. I'm like, if it was cold for you, you got out there in the cold, good work. So that's kind of how I see cold relatively. But I would say negative 20 is pretty cold. This last week, we've had temperatures down to -5 Fahrenheit, which I think is about negative 20 C. That was cold. I had a hard time getting out there I was out for like 45 minutes, and I felt like that was a lot for me. And I'm relatively acclimated to the cold. But then, I think about people like that are up in Toronto or in Winnipeg, Vancouver. You're getting those kinds of temperatures. I don't know about Vancouver, but in those some of those other places, you're getting that sustained for a long time, and you might just get used to it, and that might be okay for you to run in. The thing, and actually it's going to be the subject of tomorrow's video, is, what I do when it starts to get really cold and I'm nervous about it is, even if it's an easy run, I might pick up the pace just a little bit or throw some strides in there, something to kind of like jumpstart the body temperature a little bit, just to make sure I don't get a little bit too cold. Because sometimes like just easy running might let your body get a little bit too uncomfortable. So that's kind of my main approach to it. All right, let's get to the next question. Question number 5. This makes me giggle. All right, question 5. Let me take this off here, and I'll take this off. Okay. Question 5 on Australian trivia. What's a budgie smuggler? I just love saying that. It sounds so funny. Daniel South says, I don't care about the temp if there is no wind. The wind makes such a big difference. And that's it's a big running joke about Midwesterners making fun of ourselves. It's like we're always talking about, it'd be fine if it wasn't for the wind. But yeah, I don't care about the temp if there's no wind. I definitely agree with that. All right, any answers for bungee slam? Brian James Pons. You guys are coming back with other euphemisms for this, what budgie smuggler is, and I love it. I've not heard this one before, but the parakeet stealer, I see where you're going. I see where you're going with that one. I like it. I'm not sure if I've heard other people use it before, but I think I could see it catching on. We've got, let's see, JC coming in with banana hammock. Brett Reed says it's a salty Karen wearing Crocs while eating. Benoit says it's a nickname for a woman. Jana says a mankini. Yeah, there we go. I think we got it. The answer, like the technical answer that I'm looking for, comes from I think Jody had it, as did a couple of people. Inez and Frank said Speedos. Denning76 has it as well. Speedos are the one. That's what I was looking for budgie smuggler. All right. Daniel Goose says, as a former Wisconsin resident, definitely Minnesota is better than Wisconsin. I mean, like the temperatures that are cold or being able to deal with the cold. Wisconsin does get cold. Minnesota gets way colder. I mean, I feel like in so many respects, I feel like the difference between like Wisconsin and Minnesota, I hope I'm not offending anybody. I probably am, but I'm from Illinois now at this point, so I kind of have a rivalry with Wisconsin. But I don't know. Maybe I'm making more fun of myself than anything. But I always feel like Minnesota is more like Canada, and Wisconsin is more just like the UP, Upper Peninsula, Michigan to me. That's kind of how I see like the two, like the differences between the two. Both have very cold climates. Both do a very good job of celebrating cold temperatures and finding activities to do outdoors. Minnesotans do it in a way that seems much more like cordial. Wisconsinites seem to do it in a way that's like, we're gonna go outside and ice fish, whether you like it or not. Minnesotans be like, hey, we're gonna go out ice fishing. You want to come? So it's like a little slight difference in tone. One sounds ominous, the other doesn't. That's kind of how I break it down. I want to say no offense to my Wisconsin listeners, but I guess there's kind of offense intended. I don't know. Speaking of cold, Josh says running in 0 degrees Kelvin is where it's at. I mean, absolute zero. My kind of joke is like, once you get to the point where Fahrenheit and Celsius are like the same number below 0, I feel like you're pretty much at Kelvin, absolute 0. Anyway, I know you're about 200 degrees off of that, but it kind of, in my mind, it feels that way. Mark Saltzman wants to know, do you drink kombucha? I forgot to ask. I don't think I've ever had kombucha before. It sounds like something that I would drink, but I don't think I've ever had it before. It's a fermented alcoholic drink, right? But not a lot of alcohol. I'm not sure. Scotty B from Minnesota says, it was too cold for my iPhone. It shut down on its own. I need a better insulated sleep for it. I mean, that happens to me all the time. I mean, sometimes even my watches will shut down because they're so cold. Not usually my running watches, but Apple watches will shut down on me. Like I'll be listening to a podcast and then all of a sudden I'll hear in my earbuds, power off or disconnected because like the phone, the Apple Watch will just cut out. Chris Dyke clarifying on Vancouver. I'm guessing because of the Pacific Coast and the currents there. Says 0 degrees Celsius last night in Vancouver. And it's about as cold as it gets. See, that's nice. I could live with that. All right. Or McGowan says -40 is the same in both. That's just so miserable. Emma Wilhelm says, what? Kombucha seems so on brand for you. It does. I mean, it's got the word co. That co is right in kombucha. So I feel like it should. I had a friend of mine that he was telling me like about how this kombucha he was buying. And I was like, you don't make your own kombucha? That sounds like something that you would do. He's like, well, I grow my own vegetables on a rooftop garden on a coach house in Chicago. And I brew my own beer. We just don't have space to be making something else at home. And I was like, oh, fair enough. So, I don't know. Emma says, being a Minnesotan born and raised, I'm disappointed at how quickly I become limp to the cold living in Texas. It's really fast to deacclimate, I think. I mean, I feel like that's why like when people go on vacation in the wintertime, you'll be gone for like a week, maybe 2 weeks. And already by the time you get back, you're like, oh, I can't deal with this cold anymore. You know, it happens quick. Greg MD28 says, living in Milwaukee here, and I've not been able to run outside for the past week. I can't keep the hands warm. I've been throwing everything at my hands to try and keep them warm. Today, Alex Hutchinson had a article. He posted about an article he wrote about some people just being cold sensitive. I think they studied feet, not hands, but like some people just don't do as well about it. I didn't have a chance to read the whole thing, but it's something that I'm definitely going to look at. But for me, I've been using a thin layer of gloves, a hand warmer, and then either my running mittens or my electric gloves. So like a triple kind of system. Yeah. DJ Maldiv says, just a side note, brewing kombucha is a little risky. From like a gut health perspective, or like it's not like you're not distilling something. It's not going to explode, right? That's what I'm thinking. Emma Wilhelm says, kombucha taste test for next week mukbang. I am a kombucha fiend. All right. Let's see if I go. All right. I'm going to order some kombucha and some fruitcake. I don't know that I'll eat them in the same one. Maybe I'll split it up. I don't think I can get any kombucha for the happy hour this week. That's tomorrow. But maybe next week's happy hour. Here we go. That's what we'll do. Jeff A says, it does explode, though. Oh, it does? Oh. All right. Explode like a still might just explode? Or like explodes like popping bottles like might explode? Or is there a difference? I don't know. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Josh says kombucha. That's what we'll call it. I'll cross out the label and write kombucha. Or kofuzi buchi. We can go with that. Ben White says the explosion is because of the fermentation. Okay, I'll have to watch it. Yeah, Jeff Ali says it's more like a soda might explode, but it could break the glass. All right. Andreas Kaluza says fruitcake is a better option. All right. Okay. But Daniel says, I think the fermentation going wrong and causing poisoning is a big issue. Yeah, I think both are not that great options for me. Scott says, hey, Alexa, put Tim Tams on my shopping list. All right, let's get to the bonus question, and then I get going for today, guys. All right. Here we go. We're bringing it back to running. I forgot what the bonus question was. We're bringing it back to running. So now that we've had all these questions about Australia, bonus question is, and I think we've talked about this before, when is the Sydney Marathon in 2021? Anybody know? Any guesses? I think you could probably look it up, but I'm just thinking, I don't know. I feel like in that part of the world, you guys have been handling coronavirus really well. I don't know that you guys had let Americans over there. I don't know that I'd be able to go over there. The timing wouldn't work out. I mean, but I guess if like Chicago Marathon can't go, but if Chicago Marathon can't go, I probably can't go to the Sydney Marathon either. But Chris McLean says the 2021 Sydney Marathon is going to be in 2022. You might be right, Chris. You might be right. We'll see. Daniel says September. Steve76 also says 2022. Jeff A says April 1st, maybe on April Fool's Day. That could be it. Lewis says January. That's when I think it should be, because then you would get so many. I mean, it's warm for Australians there. It would also be warm for people in the Northern Hemisphere to go to Australia for that event. I just feel like that's something to go for. All right, Namaste has the right answer, the same answer that I have, September 19th, 2021. I will also note that the Melbourne Marathon is October 10th. Not to say that like one city is more important than the other, since neither of them is the capital. We all know that, right? But so Melbourne is October 10th, which is the same day as the Chicago Marathon. Sydney Marathon is September 19th, 2021, assuming those get to go. So sign up, guys. You can put on your budgie smugglers and race the Sheilas. Get some Tim Tams and watch out for the freshies and the salties. Oh, all right. Oh, 76, CV76. The Australian Open had issues. Did they? I didn't know that. I just remember seeing all the footage of like packed stands, and I was just like, what is going on here? I don't know. Yeah. All right. Namaste saying, yeehaw, I got the right answer. Winner, and chicken dinner. Jody says it would be too hot in January to run a marathon. Oh, is it? Yeah, I know it's hotter. It's warmer over. It's not like you guys aren't temperate in Sydney. Like it's like kind of like 4 seasons in like New Jersey or Chicago. So it makes sense that it'd be even hotter. Maybe, okay. So maybe that wouldn't work. I'm still looking for a good January. I mean, January Marathon, Houston. Houston is a great marathon to run in January. So maybe that's just the answer. Just go to Houston, everybody. I don't know. Well, I guess, or there's also the Disney Marathon. But I'm just trying to spread the love worldwide. I feel like, I don't know. I'm assuming the Sydney Marathon is a giant event, but like, I feel like there needs to be another world major in that general area. I think that'd be a good idea. Anyway, all right. Thanks everybody for humoring me. Moving trivia to Wednesday. I had a lot of fun with it, even though the questions were ridiculous. And I hope you guys all had a lot of fun. Tomorrow's video, I am going to be talking about sub-zero running already, but now this is like for real winter running. Not that other winter running isn't real winter running, but like this is for like some special tips for those of us who are like battling these like single-digit Fahrenheit, sub-zero Fahrenheit temperatures. If you're trying to like venture out into that and you don't know what to do, that's what tomorrow's video is going to be about. It won't be too long, but like, because it'll be building off the other winter video. But that's kind of what I'll be talking about. Some of my tips, not just apparel, but like some tips as well. And then we'll do happy hour tomorrow. Bring your recovery beverage of choice. I think I'm going to come with something a little bit off the wall, although I think I've had it before. But we'll see. I'll go something a little bit unconventional for happy hour tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you then. Same time as today, 3 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, stay warm and be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.